All right, we're here with Kevin McCloskey, who is the GM and runs operations for the Utah Outliers hockey team. How are you?
I am great, Garrett. You've come to many games over the course of time. It's finally nice to sit down and chat with you about it.
Yeah, I'm excited because I love talking hockey and we've got a lot to talk about. But if I remember right, you wandered into our office in Lehigh, told me a little bit about the Outliers, and I said, "You're lucky. I'm the one that popped up to chat with you because I do love hockey." And I think we had our sticker on your helmet for a season or two as well.
You did. Actually, it was at the Silicon Slopes downtown.
That's right,
Where
yeah.
I saw you at the booth and we started talking. You go, hockey, stay here.
Yeah.
And one thing led to another. And it's quite a while ago. This will be year 10 for Paul Taylor and I. And Rich Walper got on board 8 years ago. And shoot, we feel like natives here now.
Yeah. So the folks that aren't familiar with hockey, it's just kind of like baseball. There's a lot of developmental leagues and minor leagues. So obviously working down from the NHL, where do the Outliers play and what is the league called and what is the purpose of it?
Well, obviously the excitement coming up with the NHL. American League is below that would be AAA, like the Bees. ECHL, the Grizzlies, AA. And then you get into the amateur hockey status, U20, which is junior hockey. Top league in the U.S. is the USHL. 40 draft picks. You know, the draft is coming up later this week, and 40 draft picks from that league. And then you've got our league, the NCDC, and the NAHL, which are stepped down from the USHL. So a majority of our kids from our program, like we have had 7 kids this past year, have committed to D3 college hockey. So they're getting that athletic academic opportunity. Schools like SUNY Canton in the New York Conference, Wisconsin Stout, Suffolk and Boston. We had a kid going there. We had a kid going to Southern Maine. So we really are fortunate. We've got a lot of contacts. We get good kids, good players, and we can place them in various places that not only works for their hockey, but their academics.
Yeah. And there's nothing to say that they couldn't end up in the NHL one day.
I'll tell you a funny story. Last week, I was in Vegas recruiting a USHL tryout camp. And we were at the Las Vegas Ice Center, and I wander over to Handel's Ice Cream. My mom was down there for many years, and there's a Handel's right by where she lived. I'm standing in line. I go, I know this guy. And he's with a gal, and it's Zach Whitecloud, who plays for the Vegas Golden Knights. And I'm standing right behind him, and I didn't say anything to him. And his girlfriend gets her cup of ice cream, and he didn't get his. He turns around and rolls his eyes, and he goes, oh. I said, well, listen, nobody ever said this was fast food ice cream. And I said, we have Handles up in Salt Lake City. He said, oh, you're from Salt Lake? Yeah. He said, what do you think of the new hockey team coming? I said, well, I'm involved in the hockey business, and we chatted and ate our ice cream together. And Zach Whitecloud came out of our level of hockey, Tier 2 Junior A hockey in a league in Manitoba. Got a Division I college scholarship, played 2 years at Bemidji State, which doesn't put a lot of guys in the NHL. He signs an entry-level deal with the Vegas Golden Knights. He was up and down for a couple of years. And you really think about that story. The NHL is littered with kids with stories like that.
Yeah.
They're just late bloomers, late developers, late growers. They just grow and get stronger later, but they have a passion for the game. They've gotten some pretty good coaching. They've stayed with it, and they didn't quit. It was a fun story. As we're leaving, he says, hey, Kev, he said, go find a couple of under-the-radar kids like me.
Yeah.
So it happens.
It does. And you actually have enough clout to talk to an NHLer, because correct me if I'm wrong, you played a few games in the NHL.
I was drafted in 77. I actually played a game against Buffalo, and I didn't get one shift. I seriously sat there. I was on the bench. I was rooting for a bench minor penalties. They'd send me across, but you don't get a shift. You don't get a credit for the game, and it is what it is. So it's not important at today's stage of my life.
But you did get that phone call that said you're coming up.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Which is fun.
And they sent me an airline ticket. I didn't have to pay for it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I was playing in Fort Wayne at the time.
So you spent how many years in the AAA area?
So I was 4 years as a pro. I'm from D.C. I ran away, as I lovingly like to say, at 15, and my mom and dad supported me. And it was a long haul, and I had a blast. I wouldn't change a thing. 5 years, and was drafted in the 77 draft. And I always pay attention, Garrett, to the 61st pick of the draft, because that's what I was. I always try and follow them and see what they do. But,
Heck yeah.
most of them have done better than me, but listen, I wouldn't change a thing. And the beauty and the blessing to this is, as I'm older and I get a chance to impart, and Paul's the same way. We get to help kids along the way here, and we feel really blessed to be able to do that.
Yeah. And you guys have been playing out in West Valley at the Accord Ice Arena, and it's fun. You guys get a good crowd, and the hockey's good. And I remember talking to you a little bit. This would have been 7-8 years ago. Like, yeah, I'd love it if you guys had more fights, right? Not knowing what the fight cadence was, but I know it's trending down a little bit. But this year it seems to not be so much.
We had 7 or 8 fights this year.
Yeah.
And, some of the kids wear the full cage. Most don't. And so as an older school guy from the 70s, playing the 70s and early 80s, I always felt that it has a part of the game. And obviously we're in a different day and Dodge, so to say, the 21st century, and kids are raised differently now. However, kids like to run their mouth.
Yeah.
There's no consequences for their actions at times, hitting from behind and stuff. And I think that the game can police itself a little bit, maybe better than the officials. However, I understand the direction the game is headed, and it is what it is.
Well, hopefully there's a break on that, right? Like you got Matt Rempe from
Yeah,
Rangers.
that's
I
right.
remember texting you. I'm like, there was a full 5-on-5 this year, and the Grizzlies still, throw the mittens and the mitts, and I think it's the only sport where the players get to dictate the enforcement and how the game's played, right? Like if you're going to play against a team that you can't run your mouth, then you're going to play hockey a little bit differently.
Well, here's the other thing, too. There's no out of bounds in hockey.
No out of bounds.
So football, you run out of bounds. You don't have to take a hit. Basketball, the ball goes out of bounds. Soccer, it goes out of bounds. Hockey, you run into the board. So there really is a challenge to run and hide.
Yeah.
It's funny, Rich Walper, our owner, is a massive New York Rangers fan. He'd call me, hey, look, did you see what Remke did tonight? Did you see what he did? He's unbelievable. And listen, he took a couple of beatings, though, even though he's 6'8". There's an art to fighting in hockey, and he hasn't learned it.
Yeah. But he goes up against the tough ones.
Oh, everybody wants to fight him. I agree. So you got to give the kid credit.
Oh, yeah.
And
absolutely.
But there is no out of bounds, and sometimes you have to answer for your actions.
Yep, absolutely. So the ultimate purpose for you guys is to develop these players and grow the brand, grow hockey in general, right? Like there's obviously the Grizzlies, long-standing team here. Those games are as much fun as you could ever hope to have. And now we get an NHL team.
Yes.
So the ecosystem, it desires and needs Outliers and Grizzlies and all those others feeding into it. Did you ever think there'd be an NHL team here? And ultimately, how's it going to affect you and the Outliers?
Garrett, the answer is no, I didn't think there would be an NHL team here this quickly. However, back at the All-Star break, there was a couple of Ryan Smith and his wife Ashley wrote a letter to the NHL. It got posted on the NHL website. You never see that happen.
Yeah.
The next day, the NHLPA makes a statement. We're not satisfied with the revenues that are being attracted in Phoenix or gathered in Phoenix. So to me, I did the math. The letter came out. You look at the NHLPA, the players get 50 cents on the dollar, I believe it is now. So there's a lot of 50-cent coins being left on the table. I think that's why it happened so quickly. And this is a massive undertaking for Ryan Smith and his group,
Yeah.
and he's got an infrastructure built with the basketball. But, the Atlanta Thrashers were moved in 10 days back in 2013 or 2012, I believe. But they went to a team in Winnipeg that had an American League team, so they also had an infrastructure built.
Yeah.
It will grow the game exponentially faster than we will ever know. Paul Taylor was in Dallas. He got there 2 years after the Stars arrived from Minnesota in 95 or 93, and he got there in 95. And the game just took off.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same here. We'll have the first, we'll talk about our new rink in a minute in Park City, but the first privately owned arena is being built now by, Rich Walper in Park City.
Yeah.
Be a little multi-purpose event center. But now Ryan's going to build the practice rink in Sandy. You'll see more private rinks now. I think you'll see kids will be going to birthday parties when they're 5. Dad, Mom, I want to go figure skating. Dad, Mom, I want to be a hockey player. That's how it really starts at the grassroots level. So we're very excited to see that. And we can actually start developing some players with a long-range mindset of taking that 5- and 6-year-old and saying, hey, you can be a hockey player.
Yeah.
Let's go. And they fall in love with it, and they never look back.
Yep. I mean, that's the advantage for baseball, football, obviously soccer. You just need a patch of weeds or dirt or grass.
Right, yeah.
And you're good. Not even a big budget. Hockey's a little bit different. Obviously, you need specialized equipment for the ice, and then the equipment is a bit more for the players. But if you double, triple, quadruple the rinks in and around this valley, that's going to make it really accessible, right? Because you've got the rec centers, and those are pretty nice and good.
Yep.
Those have been around
The
for a long
county's
time.
done a great job with, Mayor Jenny Wilson's done, she leads that group,
Yeah.
and they've got 4 sheets of ice. They do a great job, but there's just not enough.
Not enough.
So, and
Yep.
we play in one of their 4 until we'll move February 1st. We'll move up to the new Black Rock Mountain Resort and Conference Center arena.
Tell us about this, because it's zip code wise, right? Like it's not out in the Great Salt Lake. It's in Park City area, right?
It is. So the event center is a byproduct. It's actually one of the most unique facilities being built or will exist in the United States. It's a 200-room hotel that's up and operating. Phase 2 is being built now, but the restaurants, the bars are all open. The arena's attached to that, so it really becomes a corporate space to do corporate meetings. They can have corporate music come in. If you want to bring in Kings of Leon, or I know you brought in Neon Trees one year for your slopes event, events like that, privates. So that will have roughly 30 ticketed nights for the Outliers up there. I think with the separation, the geographic divide of Parley's Canyon, it's a whole separate market up there. It would be kind of interesting. I know that the G League team for the Jazz play over at the Maverick Center now. It'd be interesting to see what they would look like up there, and really their own little separate market. Could they really attract a following up there? That would be an interesting conversation. But so Rich has had this dream and this vision for a long time. The hotel's up and operating. It's built on the side of a small, hill, mountain, whatever. And so there's been challenges with that. I've had a lot to do with the arena side of it. It's been a great project to work on. It'll be 2,072 seated for hockey, basically 3,000 for concerts, comedy. If Sundance Film Festival sticks around, which I assume they will, be a great place for events for there. And it's a very exciting venue to be a part of the development of it and stuff like that.
Oh, for sure. And just me personally, like you could have the Beatles reincarnated singing there, and I'd still rather watch hockey game. So that's what I'm most excited about.
I don't know. What do you think about Elton John or
No,
maybe
hockey? I'd rather. Absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
Who's our guy that's now tied in? And I'm who's the musician that lives locally here, and he's with the
Post Malone.
Post Malone. He'd
No,
be fun to
hockey,
have up there.
hockey. Absolutely, hockey.
And he lives here. Be a
Yeah.
short drive home.
Yeah. Big deal, right? To have your own place
Yes, it
that
is.
you don't need to share with birthday parties, right?
Yes, correct.
And I think for the league that you guys run, how many teams are there again in it?
So we have 6 in our division.
6.
Well, we'll look to expand for the 25 season to 8 teams, and geographically responsible in the mountain region. So we're Pueblo. Casper is the Provo team relocated to Casper. Ourselves, of course, Ogden Mustangs, Idaho Falls, Spud Kings. They play in that new 4,000-seat Mountain America Center up there. They sell out every game.
Yeah.
And I think that Eric Hudson's done a great job up there running that venue. Centennial Management here that runs the Maverick Center operates it. They were up for new venue of the year at the Polestar Awards in LA last fall, and they lost to the Sphere.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
that's
a tough one.
that's almost like winning if you're in second place and
Yeah.
you lose to the Sphere. That's almost like winning. But
Yeah.
they've done a great job up there. We anticipate we're smaller than that, but we'll have maybe 10 to 12 ticketed events a year for concerts, comedy shows. Like there's lots of bands hanging around, been around 20 years now that I'm not that familiar with that,
Yeah.
sell out the Complex or, the Depot and places like that. We now become an
great.
alternative for that.
Yeah. But I suppose from like recruiting, it's a big advantage for y'all now to have your own arena. And all things being equal, if you're going to decide whether it's, Casper or
Well,
arena.
yeah, right. But, nothing, and that's a valid point. Having a great facility, kids are very visual. You look at what Oregon Ducks did, 20 years ago with the money from Nike, and I think they had gotten pounded in the Rose Bowl one year, and Phil Knight said, "What's it going to take?" to the coach. He said, $10 million. He had a check the next day, and off we go. But with the uniforms and stuff like that. But really, nothing is better than winning.
Yep.
And we've won a lot. We've won the division 3 consecutive years. Up until this year, we lost in the division finals to Ogden this year. So,
Yeah.
we had won the division. So winning really, really helps. And moving kids to college programs. We have a track record of that.
Yeah.
Shoot, Paul, when he was back in Texas, I don't know, 50, 60 players to Division I college hockey. He's still got 4 or 5 guys that play in the NHL that learned to play hockey from Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
You're familiar with Popeye Jones, a former NBA player.
Yeah.
Okay. Both his kids play for the Chicago Blackhawks.
Wow. Yeah.
He was playing in Dallas, and his kids took up hockey at 5 and 6, and
There you go.
Seth and Caleb Jones are still in the NHL.
Yeah. I love hearing stories of, northern United States, Minnesota, Dakotas, Wisconsin, and then obviously Canada, where these kids grow up and they play each other hundreds of times in various forms or another. So they may have fought each other 15 times and don't even have any hard feelings, right? It's just part of the game. That probably happens in a 6-team league too, right? Where you're like, these guys again? I really know what you're going to do.
We play everybody 10 times.
10 times.
We're also going to do a showcase for the second year in Idaho Falls. So we'll play Ogden 11. I think it's Casper and Rock Springs 11 times.
Yeah.
But the Grizzlies play the Idaho Steelheads like 15 times.
And that changes things a lot,
for sure,
right?
Yeah, particularly when we get to the playoffs, right?
Yeah. You really know the other team really well.
You do, yeah.
Which is very
absolutely. Cool. And their tendencies, maybe makes game prep a little bit easier if you've played them Friday night and it's Saturday night, and maybe a few adjustments, not unlike, the Stanley Cup Finals with what you'll see in Game 7 tonight.
Yeah, we're currently sitting here, and it is Game 7, Edmonton and Florida. We were talking a lot before that. I'm all in on Edmonton. You're all in on Florida.
Well, it's funny. I live 20 minutes from the arena where the Panthers play. It's had multiple names over the course of 27 or 28 years. So I've been in that building, hundreds and hundreds of times. Not a huge Panthers fan, but I really have grown to like Paul Maurice. And I don't know Vinny Viola, the owner, but he really hung in there in a tough market when it wasn't very good. So I give him a lot of credit. Plus, he's a horse racing guy. I like that. Yeah. And so it would be fun to see Paul Maurice win. And I don't know. I think Edmonton, listen, they've battled back. You got to give them credit. But I like the way Florida plays better.
Well, when this is released, we'll know.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It'll be old news by then. But
for sure.
Game 7s in hockey, I think, are the most intense Game 7s. And this is the last Game 7 of the year.
It is the last game of the year. And then, we get the draft on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
So then we got lots of Utah Hockey Club to talk about.
Yeah. Then it'll be fun. Ultimately for you guys, how can the community get involved, right? Like there's, you're not doing this for free. It's not a nonprofit. You guys have bills to pay and operations to run. But I've always pictured it as a good place for brands to get involved in athletics and hockey. And I think there's a broad base of folks that relate to hockey, even if they don't know what icing is. They still still like the sport, right? Because they've been to games. How can the folks out there listening get involved with the Outliers?
Well, they can contact myself, number one. So we'll start. This is a really unique year because we're going to switch to the new arena in Park City mid-season. So we'll start at the A-Court Ice Arena. And the county's been challenging because you're not allowed to sell advertising there. So we get no dasher board revenue. We get no signage. We're blessed to have our own locker room, which is imperative we have to have, and that's why we play at the A-Court in West Valley. But, small advertisers, even big advertisers, the banking industry and stuff like that. We're actually looking at this year selling, if you look at the Euro hockey uniforms where, we could have, we had silicone slopes on our helmets for a couple of years there, but you look at, Zions Bank, and I'm not, or Mountain America, I'm not picking out any one bank, Bank of America. So there's that opportunity there. We're looking to maybe try and get signage in. And then obviously when we get to the new building, we control all of that inventory. So there will be a naming rights deal for the arena. There is dasher boards. There'll be 3 video boards in the building. So it's constant, in your face with, replays and stats and advertising, in-ice logos. Yeah. So there'll be lots of ways to participate. And, look, these kids, they play just as hard. They make a few more mistakes than the NHL guys do.
Yep.
So mistakes lead to scoring chances, lead to more goals. So it's a little bit more wide open than what you'd see night to night in the NHL. And obviously those guys are the best in the world by a wide margin.
Yeah. No, I hate when the team I don't want to win, the opposite team has a hot goaltender. And it's like a brick wall. And you're like, you're too damn good right now. And
that's what Edmonton said in Game 1 with Bobrovsky. In Game 2, he was unbelievable. He's just pretty average right now, though.
Yeah, but that is a nice thing about the Outliers is that pucks will jump sticks and there will be angle errors and things like that, and then there's fun breakaways, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Well, we'll have you on again to report back on the new arena and
for sure
how the NHL team here in Utah is impacting y'all. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and you picked a good spot to kind of have a hockey presence in Utah, didn't you?
The timing is everything. And it's funny, I was at the opening press conference at the Delta Center, and I got a chance to meet, Ryan Smith for about 90 seconds. And I said, hey, thanks for bringing hockey from the darkness into the light, like with one decision. And I said, I've been in this game and playing, I started when I was 7 years old. So I've been around for 58, 59 years in this game, and he looked at me like, I don't know, you're that old or no? So, but anyway, we're thrilled that they're coming here. We think it's going to grow the sport. And listen, this is a sporting area, the state of sport. You've got the winter sports. You have, of course, the University of Utah and BYU.
Yep.
And UVA, you don't leave them out. They just don't have the football aspect of it. But, Utah State, Weber State. So this is a really condensed northern Utah that really enjoys sport, high school sports, basketball, football.
Yep.
People like to recreate indoors and outdoors. So we think hockey's a great addition to it on a more regular basis.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, Garrett. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.